Now we're going to discuss something that can affect many people when it comes to public speaking, and that is anxiety. In this presentation, we'll look at understanding and trying to help manage speech anxiety. To begin with, think about some of the symptoms of speech anxiety. What is it that you feel? What's happened to you physically? What about your emotions? When you feel like you are the target and everyone's looking at you when you're doing your presentation. You may be doing the presentation in class and you may be recording online. Depends on the form of the course that you're taking. But either way, people can feel real symptoms of anxiety. To understand how to control these symptoms, sometimes it helps, or control the anxiety, sometimes it helps to understand where does it come from to begin with. Some possible causes of speech anxiety include, first of all, negative feedback from the home. There are some times when you may hear from a parent or even from a coach or a teacher, that's good, but, or it should be more. And I understand that sometimes that can be motivating for people, but it also could be something that causes a lot of anxiety. And that's because it's never good enough. And you're always worried that someone's looking at what you do and they're thinking, yeah, but. And that causes anxiety in people because they're never good enough. Also, constantly hearing that speaking in front of people can be a terrible experience. And you have probably all heard it. It's something that we often hear in our society that, oh, you have to take that class? Oh, I hate that. I don't like talking in front of people. Thinking it's going to be horrible makes it more horrible. So it's important to not think of it as such a negative experience, but look at it as a learning experience. Believing that winning is everything. And again, in our society, we do tend to believe that winning is everything. We have to be first. We have to be the best. Know that for the presentations, I'm not comparing you to anyone else who's doing a presentation. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for your improvement. Lack of self-confidence. Say this again and again and again. You need to be confident in your ability. You need to know that you can do it. If you come down on yourself, then you're not so likely to do well because you're already down on yourself. So do it. Know that you can do it and tell yourself it is possible. Speaking English as a second language. We don't always have this in every class, but could you imagine if, say you took French in high school and you know it pretty well, but now you need to go to France and you need to give an entire presentation in French. Imagine the heightened anxiety that you might feel. I absolutely understand this. My husband is from Egypt and he's been here almost 30 years now probably. And even with that, he still makes mistakes. Know this, I do not take points off when people make mistakes when English is a second language. I may let you know what's going on, what you need to correct or work on, but you're not going to lose points for it. But also understand how that can raise anxiety in people. Now on to successfully trying to control some of that anxiety. And I say some because we may not be able to get to all the anxiety. First of all, know how to prepare a presentation. And over these next few modules, you're going to learn the information that you need to prepare a presentation. As you go through the modules, take it step by step. Go through each module and prepare what it says in that module for your informative speech. And then you'll be ready for informative speech, following every step that you're supposed to. Be prepared for your presentation. Don't go through every step 2 days before it's due. Start at least a couple of weeks before the presentation is due. Do good research, organize the presentation, practice the presentation for at least 1 week, and then you know you are ready, you're prepared to do the presentation. Focus on the audience. When you're in a room of people, look around and take in their good vibes. I've never been in a class where people have wished people ill and hope they don't do well. Everyone's supporting each other, so take that in. If you're doing it in front of a group of small people, you've probably asked those people to come watch you. They are your friends and your loved ones. So they're supporting you. So take that in as well. And even if you're speaking in a group of people you don't know, People are there to hear you for a reason, and they're likely to be supportive. So focus on your audience. And remember, we already said the audience is key every single step of the way. You're always adjusting for the audience. Focus on your message. You have practiced your message and you know what it is and you need to get it across. If you're focusing on the audience, you're focusing on your message, you're not going to have a whole lot of extra time in your mind for anxiety. So it's important to focus on both of those. And once again, be confident that you can do this. Don't tell yourself, oh, I'm so bad at this. This is going to be horrible. I'll just do it and get it over with. Be confident you can do it and you can do a good job. Another way to control anxiety is something called the Superman pose. And this you might do in the room that you're going to be presenting. I've had a few people do this and they said it helps. It kind of depends on your personality if you're comfortable doing this. I would not do this in a professional situation, but you can do it in a classroom, or if you're going into a room where you're having a business meeting and no one else is there yet. This is called the Superman pose. You stand in front of the room and you take up space. You own that space. You become that space, and that space is yours. And that can help people to kind of feel some confidence in it. It doesn't work for everyone, but if you think it might help, you could try it. Something else that sometimes helps people, gum or suckers. Studies have shown that the action of chewing gum or sucking on something, it does help to reduce people's anxiety. Now make sure you get rid of the gum or the sucker before you start your presentation, because you don't want those in your mouth during the presentation. But having them beforehand can help to reduce some anxiety. So some keys, continuing keys to controlling anxiety: deep breathing. Kind of a yoga type of breath. And I'll post a couple of videos and some information about how to do this deep breathing. It can help to take away some of that anxiety. Take your time. Before you have to get up and do your presentation, take some deep breaths and really relax. Take advantage of opportunities to speak. The more you do it, it gets easier. And not saying that you're totally going to get rid of anxiety, but you've done it so much. You've got to practice a lot, and so you know you can do it. It helps to build that confidence. Visualize yourself giving a successful speech and a bad one. And by this, I don't mean picture yourself failing, but picture yourself giving a good speech, and then picture everything that might go wrong in your presentation and have a plan B for that. So think about, what if I was giving my presentation and my slides didn't work? What could I do? What could I do if I needed to give my presentation and I left my note cards at home? What should I do? Have a backup so that you have things planned for. And then if it does happen, then you're not panicking. And that helps to reduce some of that anxiety because you're like, I got this. Systematic desensitization is another way to control anxiety. And I've had students who have tried this before and they've said it's worked. Now, if you're going to try this, this is what you do. You picture a relaxing setting, whatever that is for you. If it is a park, you're in the forest, you're in the mountains, you're at the beach, you're sitting at home, curled up on the couch with a good book next to the fireplace, whatever is a relaxing setting for you. You picture that in your mind. And then you picture yourself giving your presentation. And you go back and forth in your mind, the presentation and the relaxing setting, and the presentation and the relaxing setting. And eventually, your mind starts to correlate the presentation with relaxation. Now, if you're going to do this, you do have to start early. And you have to do it a little bit every day. It's not going to work overnight. And I have had students who have tried it, and they said it doesn't take it all away, but it takes away a little bit. And that's important, because if we're taking away a little bit with systematic desensitization, we're taking away a little bit with some deep breathing, we're taking away a little bit with self-confidence, we're taking away a little bit with gum or suckers, we're chipping away at some of that anxiety, and that's important. Some tips to remember for giving a good presentation: have a good outline, and we're going to talk about outlining in one of the videos coming up. Practice early, because you want to make sure that you've practiced enough that you really know your presentation. Look at the delivery styles video to learn more about extemporaneous speaking and what we're looking for, and you can aim for that in your practice sessions. Feeling confident again, can't say it enough. That helps to get rid of that anxiety and helps you give a better presentation. Don't start until you're ready. If you're in the classroom, get everything set up, look at the audience, and feel confident before you start. If you're recording at home, same thing. Get it all set up, practice, run through it before you start recording, and then do it when you know you are ready. Take a look at your audience, pick up on those good vibes from them, take a deep breath, and then get started.